Hi, friends. Hello, the world. Welcome to this episode of A Complaint Free Life. I'm sitting in a hotel lobby and trying to record this. So, if there are any noises, backgrounds, people talking, I very much apologize. I tried to find a quiet place, but it seems like it's not that easy. So, that's one of the challenges, I guess, of a nomadic worker. Um, as usual, at the end of each month, I'm talking about how my life outside of a career job has been and what are the challenges and successes for some of you who might be considering this. And you can maybe use them as ideas. So, May itself has been actually very challenging months in terms of my personal life because I ended some relationships and had to make some tough decisions, which was very difficult yet necessary. So that led to a lot of sadness and grief, which I'm continuously doing it, but I'm also appreciating that I can process all those emotions and know how to do that rather than avoid it or trying to make things better. Even though my brain often tries to do that, my brain is like, oh no, we're too sad all the time. So let's get to a happy place, right? So that's one of the things that I'm working on. And the other challenge, sad event, is that my mother's health has been deteriorated lately. So we're trying to do something about it. But obviously, this has been also very much weighing on me. So I'm trying to, yeah, I'm trying to find ways to process all of this while I'm working on my business. May month has also been a month of reflections because it's been a 20 years anniversary or reunion of my graduation from my high school in the village in Kyrgyzstan. And I went to a reunion where I met people that I studied with from when I was 6 years old. So it's been amazing to see them and also amazing to reflect on what lives we've all taken off and how things have gone. And I've seen that there are a lot of things that are noticeable about their lives in comparison to mine, even though I know that I don't want to compare, but just for the sake of knowing that how how different you can also design your lives that's so different from everyone else if that's really what you want to do, because I always wanted to be independent and do all the things that I want to do. So therefore, I've tried to design my life in a way that suits me well, which then made me actually be in a situation of being the only non-married person without children who is living abroad and came to a reunion, and all my other classmates had children. Many of them had four children. Some of them had even grandchildren. So it's amazing. So you can see that this was also a lot of reflections. But what I've concluded from that reunion is that I'm so happy and proud that I designed my life the way I wanted and I got what I wanted. So I was super stoked about it from the perspective of me designing my life despite all the societal and community rules of how we should lead our lives, meaning having husbands and children. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Everyone makes their own choices, but I'm glad that I made my own choice and I'm happy with the result of it. So that's all I want to say. So, in terms of successes for my business this month, obviously, one of the great successes, I added more clients to my individual case work. So, I'm very grateful that I can work with more people and yeah, and help change their lives in the way that I can. Uh, the other one is consistency. I finally managed to get the skill of being consistent over a year on a particular task. So in the past, I used to tell myself that I'm not really consistent. I start something and I don't finish. So I actually started a blog post and posts, and I'm happy to tell you that I'm now on the 57th, I think, blog post, and I've been doing it over a year, and I've been loving it, doing it every week. And now, as you've seen, that I've even increased the number of smaller posts. And this is just to show that when I started my blog post, I actually had this idea that, oh, I may run out of ideas, so therefore maybe I shouldn't do it weekly, or maybe I shouldn't even do it. So now I'm seeing that our brains never run out of ideas. So go for it if you're thinking about it, or anything else that you want. Consistency is amazing for many reasons, but one of the main is for me is that honoring my own words to myself, that if I do this, I'm going to do this consistently, no matter what the circumstances is. So having that skill and using that for everything else is so amazing. So that's what I'm gonna do now with Spanish. I've been studying for a while. I stopped studying at some point because I, for some reasons, thought, okay, I'm not really consistent. Why bother and all this? So now I'm really serious about it, and that's the reason why actually considering moving to Mexico and learning Spanish there, and bringing it to an end in a sense of getting a C level advanced certification. And the same with Italian. I started it and I don't want to drop it, so I'm continuing learning it. So that's these are the exciting things. So, and also I started a new project of conversing with people of different profiles from different areas of the world, exciting people about what their topics are, or the topics of their circles, and how we could tackle them. I talked to two people already. One of them is an amazing person that I met in London, and she works for one of the biggest social media companies ever. I know that she doesn't really want to talk about it, because I think, rightly so, that she doesn't want her statements to be influenced by the listener. But the other one was my former colleague from UNHCR, even though we talked just like human to human, sharing our experiences and love for coaching. So I want to do that more. And if you happen to know exciting people to talk to, especially also in Russian language, it would be great, because so far everything has been in English. So I will be grateful. And the last one on the successes is that I'm now collaborating with some coaches from different parts of the world to work on specific things. And one of my ideas, at least, is that how we can influence certain cultures and mindsets of certain organizations on taking responsibility rather than abdicating it, and how to process emotions. So let's see how that will go, but I'm very excited about it. So now, in terms of challenges, as I said, it's been very difficult to continue working while having all this sadness and grief and everything else. But this is a human experience, right? We tend to do all of the things at the same time, but as long as we know how to take care of ourselves and do that, I think that's going to be very good. I mean, we're going to get in the end stronger out of this experience, rather than avoiding or resisting it, or keep thinking that this shouldn't be happening. So I'm not doing any of that. I'm rather accepting it and saying, yes, this is part of my humanness, and I'm going to experience it and learn about myself throughout this process. The other challenge that my brain always keep bringing is the this idea of whether I'm doing enough for my business, and I had to really ask myself, what does that really mean? What does enough mean, and why my brain is thinking that way? Because one of the reasons that I changed is that I said now to myself that I made a decision that I work 25 hours per week on my business. And whenever I think I do that, my brain had this idea that I have to do more or over 40 hours or whatever the case may be in order to start the business, because I have a lot of conceptions about, oh, this is a business in the beginning stage. You have to die for it and work the whole time in order to get to the place that you want. And I'm really trying to tackle those beliefs, because those are obviously beliefs that I've been programmed to believe, but rather looking at how can I do the most efficient work, the most valuable work within 25 hours per week, rather than just counting hours or thinking that if I do more of different things, then magically something will happen, but rather focused on I'm going to do these things and I want to measure these results, and how am I getting to that result. So, and the other thing is that I really want to do all of these things from the full belief and trust in myself that I can do this. Because the other thing that I've been working on is how can I create trust in myself that leads me to the result that I want, rather than keep trying to find different actions to compensate for my lack of belief. Because oftentimes I think we do that. We have this lack of belief in something, but yet we keep doing, and then in the end things don't go the way we think they should, and then we get like disappointed and saying, oh, I knew this wouldn't work, why bother doing it, right? But rather coming from a full belief and trust that this is my goal, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to achieve it. And these are the ways I'm going to try it, and trust throughout the process no matter what. And I've noticed that this was actually one of the most challenging things that I could do, because I tend to be so good at implementing certain actions and doing it, but actually building a belief, building a trust, and building trust with new evidence has been something that has been also a bit abstract in my mind. So I'm now working on how can I make it more accessible, more tangible, so that we can all use to build trust in ourselves. So this has been my work for this month, and I hope that you will let me know in case you have any questions. But this has been, a challenging week, challenging months, yet also rewarding months, and continues to be a year of exploration, and year of when I live my ideal life. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week, and talk to you next Friday. Bye.